שבוע טוב, הגות תבוך, מועדים לשמחה, חג שמח, good moed, good Yom Tov. So many greetings. We're in the intermediate days of Sukkot toward the end. Tonight is Hoshana Rabbah, and I'm going to tell story number 21 of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov. The title of the story is haBaal Shem Tov haDoctor. The Baal Shem Tov and the doctor, using the Yiddish word for doctor even in the Hebrew text. As an introduction, the author of the book, Dovber of Linitz, tells us a brief anecdote prior to the story. He says that the Maggid Misharim, the Maggid, the preacher of righteousness, of the moral preacher of the holy community of Sde Lavan, is understood by the context, it means Sde Lavan, as we mentioned in the previous story, whose name was Rav Avram Podlisker. He was a great and famous, renowned tzaddik. And once the Rav Avram Podlisker and the members of the Besdin, I guess, of the city of Sde Lavan, couldn't approve of any of the available knives for shchita. Prior to doing the kosher slaughter, a knife is brought to the rabbis, and the rabbis will approve if the knife is straight enough and sharp enough, and all the details that the stringent details necessary for proper kosher slaughter. And none of the knives available were approved by the rabbis in this case. And once, meaning then, the Baal Shem Tov came to visit them, and they wanted to honor this guest. They said, this guest is great, is honorable for us. Where in Sukkot, telling the story, the first night of Sukkot, we have the Shpizin of Avraham Avinu, but also according to the Hasidic tradition, the Baal Shem Tov comes. So the Baal Shem Tov came, and they couldn't honor him with a proper fleishik meal, with a meat meal, because there was no kosher knife for the slaughter. And so the Baal Shem Tov said he would place a knife in front of theirs, and he showed them a knife in front of them, and the Besdin of Sde Lavan approved of the Baal Shem Tov's knife, and they were able to shecht and to slaughter kosher the animals and to prepare a proper kosher meal for him. And then the Baal Shem Tov told them, here comes the introduction to the story, that he would send them a shochet. And he sent them, says Rav Avram Dober as he's writing this, my father-in-law of blessed memory, and he became rich there. We told in story number 15 about Rav Alexander Shochet, who was a soifer by the Baal Shem Tov. He wrote segulos, let alone mezuzos and tefillin for the Baal Shem Tov, or at the Baal Shem Tov's court. However, he was not doing well in Parnassa, in his making a living, so the Baal Shem Tov sent him there. Given that in this community they needed somebody, an expert on shchita, to have the knives ready in time and to do these things, and he sent Rav Avram Shochet there, and Rav Avram Shochet became quite wealthy working there as a shochet. And then Rav Dovber, the author of the book, continues to tell us, my father-in-law of blessed memory told me, now comes this story, that a few years before he came, in the city of Sde Lavan, there lived a chassid, the Av Besdin, meaning a pious man, the head of the rabbinical court, that we have mentioned in a prior story, which is Rav Chaim of Kribush, mentioned before. And he lived the rest of his life in Sde Lavan until he passed away. When he was sick, Rav Chaim of Kribush was sick, he called the Baal Shem Tov to come and heal him from his illness. And the Baal Shem Tov spent quite a long time in his treatment for his healing. But the son of Rav Chaim realized that the Baal Shem Tov's treatments were not working, and so they secretly sent for a doctor, uses the Yiddish word for doctor, from the community of Ostra, and the doctor was coming to Sder Lavan, and the Baal Shem Tov saw, by his spiritual visions, he saw that the doctor was on his way. So he told Rav Chaim, his patient, that the doctor of the community of Ostra is coming, so I'm leaving. There was a meeting that shouldn't happen. The two of them shouldn't be in the same place. The Rav didn't know what his children had done, so he begged the Baal Shem Tov not to leave him, to please stay. And the Baal Shem Tov saw himself forced to stay one more night. But in the morning, he told him the doctor is 2 parasot away, sorry about the noise, it's 2 leagues away from here, so I must get going. And that's it. The Baal Shem Tov went into his couch to go. Meanwhile, the doctor was staying at an inn. He had arrived in the city. He was staying at an inn, and he held his hand in the direction of the Baal Shem Tov, gesturing like he had a gun, and he says, if I see the Baal Shem Tov, or when I see the Baal Shem Tov, I will shoot him. Now we know where the Baal Shem Tov wants to go. Okay. So in the morning, the Baal Shem Tov was in a rush to get going, and his patient, the Rav, wanted to retain him, to hold him longer, and the Baal Shem Tov said, no, the doctor is coming to the city, so he's arriving, I must go. He greeted him shalom, and he left. The Baal Shem Tov got in his carriage and went on his way, but his first stop was at the inn where the doctor was staying. He had not yet gotten up. The Baal Shem Tov got off had not left the doctor hadn't left the place yet, so the Baal Shem Tov got off the carriage and went into the inn, and he greeted the doctor. The doctor sees him and says, where would you know doctorate? I mean, the knowledge, the science of medicine. How would you know such a thing? The Baal Shem Tov told him, Hashem, God, blessed be He teaches me. And he left. The Baal Shem Tov left. So, the children of Rav Chaim brought the doctor to their father, and the doctor, he looks at the patient and he says, you should do this and this, we'll do this medicine. And the children of Rav Chaim say, oh, the Baal Shem Tov already tried that. Okay, then we do this and this other medicine and treatment, and they say, oh, the Baal Shem Tov also tried that. Finally, when the doctor realized that anything that he had to say, to recommend, to think, it was already tried by the Baal Shem Tov, he ran into despair and he left. This Rav, Abedin, this big Chacham, Rav Chaim, was resentful of his children. He tells them, what did you do? Even though the Baal Shem Tov didn't have the cure, whenever he entered, I saw that the Shechina, God's presence, was coming in. But now, this doctor comes in, and I think that a Galach is coming. A Galach, literally a shaven one, means a non-Jewish priest. So, it's something that doesn't belong here. He doesn't have the cure either, and he doesn't belong here. Why did you bring him? No difference. I commonly invite you to come to my Patreon blog for explanations on the story, which I intend to do. However, given that we are in the holiday now, Hoshana Rabbah, the last day of Sukkot, and we have the days of Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah coming up, I may delay a bit on writing the comments of the story. But hang on, check on the link in the description, and I will have it, God willing, soon. Subscribe, like, contribute, come back next week, tell your friends, etc. Again, the greetings. We'll say a Shavua Tov, a Gute Woch, and also Moadim L'Simcha, and Chag Sameach, a good Moed, a good Yom Tov.